Hello and welcome to another model building workshop. I am Mr. Allen. I am coming to you from the Smith Hill Library. Well, on behalf of the Smith Hill Library, which is part of the Community Libraries of Providence. I'm actually in my basement workshop, as you probably all know, and I am going to be looking today at the T-62 and the Warsaw Pact soldiers. This is an ESCI ERTL kit and 1/72nd scale, and it is obviously dating back a number of years ago. Let's see if there's a date on the box. And there is. Interestingly, it mentions it's from Milan. And it's got a date of 18 February 1983. Pretty specific if I'm reading all of that Italian correct there on the bottom there. So anyway, 1983. So yeah, this has got a nice set here. You got a T-62 tank, as it says, and you get an assortment of 1/72nd scale soldiers. These are the soft plastic type that was popular and still popular. Let's have a look. This has been boxed a few different times, and these have been sold separately, the T-62 and the soldiers, as separate entities. So here is the instruction sheet, such as it is. Nice photo, though, of the T-62. Does it say much here? Yes, it's got one 115 millimeter gun. This is the first tank to be produced with a smoothbore gun with the armor-piercing fin stabilized system. It was tested out in an American tank prior to this one, but this is the first tank that was in a production series that had it. So it's 40 tons. And got a crew of 4 that are all crammed in here. So here's your instruction assembly sequence here, which is not uncommon to, even if you did this in a 35th scale. For those of you that have built any modern Soviet tanks, you're probably used to some of these sequences. There is one thing that is kind of a glaring mistake, and I'm not sure why this is the case. But if you notice the road wheels here, it's just one solid one. Kind of interesting how that is. Should be a pair of them, but they're doing it one big chunk instead. Not sure why. Maybe it's easier. And then you have spare gas tanks that go on the back. The machine gun for the turret roof is there. Pretty straightforward production sequence. It is interesting to get length track for that time period. That's an interesting feature that this has. For that far back. I mean, that's kind of a cool idea. Although I'm not sure why the wheels are the way they are, but what are you going to do? And then you have the painting scheme, which here shows one in a green and sand tone, which tends to be more typical of Middle Eastern wars than necessarily a Warsaw Pact vehicle, but yes, sand and olive green is what they're going with there. But there's many different ways you can paint a T-62. You can always do winter white, a solid green, etc., etc. What's interesting with the T-62 is that it's kind of ironic for this boxing, because it says T-62 and the Warsaw Pact. But because this was such an expensive tank, when it was put on the market for export, most Warsaw Pact countries said, I'll stick with the T-55 for now. And they passed on this, other than Bulgaria. Bulgaria bought them. A number of Middle Eastern countries bought these. Iraq had quite a few of them, and Libya, and I think Angola did, and some other countries. But as far as the Warsaw Pact, actually no, other than Bulgaria. So that kind of makes this somewhat silly, but anyhow. So here's the figures, and this is typical of the soft plastic style figures. Let me see if I can get something behind this so that, yeah, let's try this envelope here. It'll let go so that you can see these figures a little more clearly. I'm trying to get closer here. The Surface Pro is probably not the best tool for this sort of job, but that's what I've got right now. So that's what you get with this tree. And you can see that I had done some painting on this already before I thought of doing the video. It's a guy with an RPG there. A few other figures. I think there's an East German here. Well, technically a couple of these could be East German. But the guy here, if you look carefully, you'll see that that helmet is an East German helmet. And we have another set here. Yes, another East German helmet. This guy here is going to use German helmet, so that row. Looks like most of these have standard Soviet style helmets, or the winter hats and berets. So you have an option of how you want to paint these and what you want to do. I had started by just putting a quick, like a khaki or earth tone on them to get started. There's a painting guide for the soldiers here. But I can show you some more in just a moment on that. In fact, I think I'll keep going with the figures and then we'll go look at the tank. How's that? So there's some options there for the figures. You know, talking about khaki drab, black, chestnut brown, olive drab, and a dark green. Just some of the ones that they single out here. And if you notice, if you look at this carefully, memorize that. Because guess what? That guy shows up here in this book. This is an Osprey Elite Series Warsaw Pact Ground Forces by Gordon Rotman, and color plates by Ron Volstad. And those of you who have built a lot of model kits, especially Dragon models, figures, you know, you would know Volstad tends to be the illustrator for the bulk of that series. This book dates from 1987. It's got a lot of history and the photographs. I'm going to try to get to the color plates here, which is usually fast to find, but in any case. So we go through different ones, like the East Germany is here. As you can see with the winter hat on this guy here. So these are, you know, it's easy to do that with the figure set we're looking at. And then you have the standard soldier with a helmet, whether you have it plain or with a camouflage covering. You know, those are possible with that set. If you keep looking, you're going to notice that some of these figures keep showing up in that set, which is intriguing. I don't know who copied who first, you know. This book is from 87. I think this kit dated from 83. So, But anyway, you'll notice this particular tank crew guy, he shows up in that set. Now this is as Czech soldiers here. Yeah, there's a little Czech, but not too different from Soviet. And these guys here are more of East Germany. I don't know how readily available this book is at this point. And we get some more here from Poland and the Czechs. Get into Poland and Bulgaria here. Bulgaria has a very interesting helmet. An older style helmet, but they do have the Soviet style all as well later. So you get this one here. So it's, you know, these are all possibilities with that set of figures. These are Hungarian on this page. Hungarian and Romanian are here. Again, you'll see some of these poses or similar poses in this set of figures. Go the camouflage gas mask uniform, for example. This guy tends to show up as well, the Romanian guy. Although I don't think the rifle is quite the same, because the Romanian AK-47 had a grip on the front. I'm sorry, it's the Hungarian. And the Romanian does too. Both of them, Romanian and Hungarian, do. If you look carefully, you'll see those hand grips in the front of the AK-47. And then there's some other information here on badges. That's essentially this book here. There's a lot more to it, don't get me wrong. And it's certainly worth getting if you can find it still. These are old, and I've had these for quite a while. And then you have the Elite Forces, which you can also do some of these with that set as well. And this is by Steven Zaloga, James Loop, and again, Ron Volstad. So let's look at the date on this one. This is 85. Again, I'm going to jump ahead to the color plates. And we get some paratroopers here. Soviet paratroopers. They get a bunch of different KGB and other Soviet forces here, like in Afghanistan. Those are slightly, well, I guess you can do that too. Soviet naval infantry. It's there. So it's really up to your creativity of how you want to paint these guys. I don't think we get into Poland over here. Again, this is the Warsaw Pact years. It's like the 70s and 80s. These countries have all changed dramatically. They have different uniforms now, but this is what they were doing back in around 1980, 85. This is the Czechs here. You know, naturally, this is all the communist period. That looks like that is yeah, that's some East Germans here. These are East Germans on this page here. Some Bulgarians and Romanians here. And some insignia. So again, if you can find these books, these are pretty great. Like I said, I bought these a while ago. They kind of yellowed a bit from age. And last but not least, let's look at the T-62, right? So for decals, I mean, even though it says, I think this is funny, it says here decals for Germany, Germany, well, DDR it says, and then, no, it doesn't say DDR, it says decals for, yeah, Germany, I'm assuming East Germany and Poland, and it does not give you decals for either of those, because the set here gives you Soviet emblems. You see the There's the Red Guard badge there. There's a tactical marking there and just some numbers. And here is the parts. And this is a mixed bag because some of the detail, well, some of the detail is not bad, although the engine grates could be better by today's standards. Some of these smaller pieces are kind of interesting. Let me see if I can get this back up so you can see it. So some of the small parts aren't terrible, you know? For 1/72nd scale and back in the 80s, it's not too bad. The Lincoln length tracks look reasonable. I mean, there's no guide teeth, or guide horns, I guess I should say, if I'm saying it right. On the tracks, they're just pretty flat, so you don't have that part that sticks up. You know, the tooth in the middle is not there. But overall, not too bad, especially for the date on this. And you get your those gas containers there. And last but not least, we get the turret part and the wheels, which, yeah, I don't know. Again, like I said, I don't know why they have them as this solid piece. Maybe because of the size. But there should be two connected road wheels and not just one sitting there like that. But here's all the other parts here. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, I'll probably monkey around with this at some point. I started painting a few figures for fun. This has potential. I just don't understand what's up with the wheels, because the rest of this isn't that bad. Curious. Again, this kit's like, what, 40 years old now? So, I don't know. Looks like it could still be fun. May have to do some heavy weathering or something to try to take care of those road wheels. I don't know if there's any aftermarket stuff out there that might fix this kit, although I don't know if it'd be worth spending the money to do it, because I'm sure that there's other kits out there of the T-62 and 1/72nd scale that are probably better than this one anyway. But this is kind of a fun kit from yesteryear with the addition of the figures. So it makes for an interesting set. Anyway, looks like it could be fun. And that's your T-62 and Warsaw Pact soldiers in 1/72nd scale. Okay, we will see you guys in the next episode. Stay safe and have fun building, okay? Bye.